I've not filmed, have I?
Not at all?
No, because it rained.
You got it on now?
Yeah. Right, last qualifier at Fisher Mania today, and 300 pegger on paper, but there's been a lot of no-shows. That means a lot of anglers in the match had quite a bit of space. Obviously, with how I've been catching and doing well on the bonsai, that's the lake I wanted to draw. And unfortunately, I drew 34 on loco, and I didn't really fancy it, which meant that I was a bit reluctant to get to my peg. The match started at 11:15. I think I got to my peg about 10:30, and I've just set one rod up. And I've ended up actually having a good day's fishing. I've caught quite a few fish. Just fishing a method feeder at 25-30 metres, ground bait and maggot, just what I've been doing really. And I just thought, you know, I'm not going to catch on anything else. I might catch shallow, but I know they've been catching quite a few fish on the caster shallow, and I didn't bring any casters. So I've just set one rod up, and it's actually worked quite well for me. I've had the odd bad spell, but then in the last 20 minutes I've caught some proper fish as well. And then on the other bank, opposite me, we've got Luke Sears with a wind in his face, who's got quite a bit of space to his right, and he seems to have caught as well. And then next to me, we've got Johnny Arthur. Now, I've known Johnny a long time, and one thing I do know is when it comes to estimation of weights, he's pretty poor, to say the least.
I haven't got a clue, Nicholas.
So, you've got 3 keep nets in. Why have you put 3 keep nets in?
Because I asked you what the weight.
I know, I was winding you up.
I said, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, I can't. And that goose was quacking. I couldn't even hear you.
I was kidding you. I said to you,
said
split your fish.
Put a third in, you said.
I said, split your fish evenly.
I went in my van.
What weight do you reckon you've got, Jonathan?
100 and something.
100 and something?
Yes.
Right.
I think you've got more than that.
Well, you'll be surprised. I don't think I have.
You've emptied it on the feeder.
I think you've got £30 more than me. I'm admitting to £130.
Well, I've had an 8-pounder jump out my keep
Yeah, but you
net.
got it, didn't you?
I've dropped my... Yeah, I'm playing a 2 or 3 pound F1, and I've had to drop my top kit and net the carp, and then my top kit's out there and it's got the F1 took the whole lot. Knocking me peg up for 10 minutes.
But the thing is, I think you've overtook me when you've gone on that pole shallow, and you've fished. What, you've fed casters and fished a wormhead on up?
Just casters.
And what have you fished on the up?
Caster.
Have you?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, some little F1s and silvers to start, and then there's great big F1s.
Right.
The rigs aren't there now.
Oh, you packed them away?
No, they've gone. One's in the middle of the lake.
Right.
And the other one's just gone at the end.
So we'll see what happens at the weigh-in. It's a short truck method.
That's what you've done.
And it's just fucking, I've had odd fish, and at last half hour I've had some mirrors, but...
Just stuck in the same place all the time?
Yeah, with a clip on. I've had to take the clip off last half hour, because I've had 5 proper fish.
Don't break
I've
me
had
back.
one done me on clip.
Don't break me back, mate. Be kind.
Oh, I've got mine. Johnny off.
Tomorrow, keep your appearance.
Yeah.
What name or peg, mate?
It needs to be peg 34.
I've got a load of did not wave to go in through here.
469.
Yeah, because I didn't know. Probably worse.
$28.6.
What you had, Luke?
28.6.
28.6.
Every sport, I normally spend minutes, but I swear I was like, they come out that way normally when it's like that. Two ways and I don't know, aren't it?
$43.9.
Tight. No, I think you have 154.
I do, but make sure remember
£30 too.
then the wind has gone for everything.
1, 4, 8, 7.
Come on, Nick.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Thank you. 4, 8, 10. Right, that won't be. 112?
I thought he had loads.
Right, wait. Let's see where his last let. I'm convinced he's beat
Was
me.
that 43.11?
Oh, yeah, I've lost
I've
some
pound
fish.
up to now.
Wow.
I could have sworn he had loads.
I'm exactly the same. I thought he beat me by £30.
But he beat me £30. I've got him for £20.
You did. Catch them calm.
Big then in the shower.
You've got to catch them calm.
Horsepound 10.
Should have been 45 in all of them, or 40ish. No, near enough. It was in the water, I picked holding it out.
Honestly, I swear blind, I thought you'd beat me by
No, I
about
didn't think
20,
so.
£30.
116.15.
Cheers, mate.
Not enough though, is it? No. 148.
Oh, what you?
Yeah.
What?
That's what I do, isn't it?
So you third at mate?
Fourth.
4.
Girl outside 151. Right, we just weighed in, and I've weighed in 148, and honestly, I'm a bit shocked because I'd have swore blind that John would have beat me by at least 20, £30 because he's caught really well the last 2 hours. But he's had a bit of a nightmare, haven't you?
Yeah.
We're fish, and I think you must have lost some fish.
That first
Out of that
net
net.
has only had £30 in it,
Yeah.
and that was my first starting net before I even started the second.
Yeah, I'm convinced you've lost some fish. So yeah, he's
The whole top ring was in the water when it snapped the block. So I don't know. I got the big carp, but I'm just wondering if I lost 2 or 3 or more F1s out the top of it as well. But anyway, I still think you'd have beat me. So, I haven't lost £20 of fish, I don't think. I reckon I have lost some fish trying to grab that net and my top kit with a fish on you.
So it's been a tight match. I think there's been 2 weights, 2 170s on Benny's. Andy Gellart's had 151 on Bonsai, and I think I'm 4th up to now. We're 148. So it's fished really, really well. And to be honest with you, I would have never have thought I'd have had that weight from the peg that I've drawn today. So
£100 going to win nothing today.
it just goes to show you've always got to go to your peg in these matches because you never know.
You fished a blinder there, Nick. Well done.
no wind, bit flat calm. Caught for the first hour, and that was it.
Bad luck, mate.
It's one of them. Richie's been on that peg with that fucking half a man.
I am peg 60. Right, so it was the last qualifier for Mania, trying to get into the final at Lindholme Lakes. And to be honest with you, I was really looking forward to this. Spread across the whole complex, 300 peg match, and obviously with how I've been catching a lot of fish on the bonsai at Lindholme, that was the lake I wanted to draw. And I was a bit gutted, to be honest with you, when I drew not a very good peg on loco on paper, peg 34. The only consolation was I was next to my good mate Johnny Arthur, who was on peg 36. However, the wind was blowing out from the corner, and 34 situated towards the top end of the corner. It's actually a good F1 area for fishing shallow on the pole if there's a bit of space, but obviously in this event nearly every peg across the complex is taken, and I didn't fancy it at all. Obviously the wind's blowing down to the other end of the lake, and I just didn't fancy it. I just thought, got no chance of qualifying from there. At the end of the day, you're fishing the match to win the match, to try and get in the final, or with this event the top two get through to the final or to the semi-final now. And I just really debated whether it's actually worth going to the peg. Anyway, after a lot of debating, sitting down, having a cup of tea with Aaron and Neil in the cafe, I decided to just give it a go, basically. And I got to my peg. Johnny was there, he was all getting ready, and I just thought, look, you know, if I'm going to win the lake from here, I'm just going to set up one rod, which was what I've been doing recently. I'm confident of what I'm doing. There wasn't enough space, I felt, to actually catch on the short pole, and I couldn't even fish down the margins because I got an angler to my right, and then between me and Johnny Arthur there was a spare peg, but I couldn't actually fish up to it because I've got a tree to my left that was stopping me fish down the banking. So I've just fished a Beastmaster, Shimano Beastmaster 911 feeder rod, and just decided just to do a short chuck on a method with ground bait and maggots and pellets on the hook, and just see what was there. As it turned out, I ended up catching quite a few fish, and I've caught at 25 metres, just catching steadily, catching the odd F1, and I fished to a clip with the intentions to build up my swim, hopefully in the last hour getting an arrival of some better fish once there was a bit more bait out there and a reason for them to actually settle on the feed. And that's exactly what happened. I've caught F1 steady, and then in the last hour I've had a run of big fish, and I've ended up having a nice day's fishing. I've ended up with £148, and myself and Johnny have had quite a bit of a battle. Johnny Arthur's caught on the waggler, he's also caught on the pole shallow, feeding casters and fishing worm and maggot on the hook. And in all honesty, I thought he got a bit more than me. I've ended up, as I say, with 148, and Johnny's had 115, but he's had a bit of a nightmare in the middle of the match, as you heard from him. But I still don't think he'd lost that many fish out of his keep net. So it was deceiving. I think the fish that he was catching on the pole shallow were of a smaller stamp than what I caught. So anyway, I ended up winning the lake, and I've pulled out of 7 F1s, and Rob Minikin won the match from Benny's, and he had £177, and I needed £173 for second overall. So this is where you then start maybe looking back thinking, well, you know, could I have done it? And yeah, I've pulled out of 7 F1s, but you're always going to lose the odd F1, especially on the method feeder, when they just don't take the hook bait properly. So yeah, I reckon I've lost £15 of fish, and a bit more fortune. I might have been able to get £172, £3, but that's clutching at straws. At the end of the day, you know, I felt I fished a pretty decent match, to be honest with you. And it's not very often you can say that. There's always faults with your fishing. So yeah, it was a close match, and to be honest with you, the weights were fantastic. Luke Sears was just behind me on the lake with 144 pound from peg 20. And every lake fished really well. Andy Geldart won Bonsai with 152 pound pole shallow off peg 42. Sorry, peg 41. And you know, there were quite a few hundred weights. I think there were over 20 100-pound weights. So that fished really, really well. But congratulations to Rob Minikin getting through to the final. And yeah, so that's another year over with Fishermania. I'll have to try harder next year.